The following thoughts and opinions we're going to discuss regarding this album are strictly of our own personal interests. We are not professional music reviewers. We encourage respectful discussion and friendly banter in each episode, but we do not condone and will not tolerate bullying or belligerence. You are welcome to take what we say regarding the albums we rate with a grain of salt.
Well, hey there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Rate the Record podcast, episode 51 this time around.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of lost I lost my steam at 50. Like, we'll bring it back at like 75.
I hope that's actually relevant when you turn 50. I've lost steam. I just don't care anymore.
No, and when I turned 30, it was done. That was it. My bed is just this place to be.
Excellent. So your hosts who have given up for the day are Kris and?
Definitely Savannah.
I don't know if I can even entirely relate to that, so I don't know why I would say it, but I did anyways, and you are here watching the podcast. So, hey, thank you very much for being here, hanging out with us, and checking out today's album. We sure do hope that you have a lot of fun listening to the music and being part of the discussion that we want you to be a part of. And so to be a part of that discussion, make sure you like, subscribe, rate, share, comment, follow, all those things that help build up that musical community that you yourself can be a part of very easily, especially over in the audio world, wherever you may be listening, Spotify, Apple, blah, 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 doesn't really matter. Regardless, there is a comment section. Leave some good reviews, 5-star ratings. Let's make sure that other people like you can find the podcast and we can all just be a big happy kind of family thing.
Please rate us 5 stars on like some of the albums that we
rate the podcast.
No, don't do that. No. Well, yes, but don't do it to us, please. I'm fragile and scared.
Suppose and so spare Savannah's feeling, just gives us 5 stars. Make her feel better about things.
Yes, please.
But hey, of course, YouTube, we're not leaving you out, so make sure that you hit like and subscribe over on YouTube, because especially, I've been saying it every week, and I'm going to keep saying it until it finally happens. Once we hit 100 subscribers, we are giving away a free record once a month, every month that we're over 100 subscribers. You want free music, and all you got to do is hit that subscribe button, be part of the community. And like, even if you don't get a record initially right off the bat, the idea is you're still part of an awesome community. That's the best part. It should be at the very least.
And stay subscribed, and you could win the next month. Or the next month, or the month after. Who knows? As long as we're over 100.
Yeah, exactly. And who's to say that all 100 of those people are immediately going to sign up for the contest or anything like that? So, hey, you might be the only one to sign up right away, so you might get it. Who knows? Anyways, you got to hit subscribe in order to even be a part of that. But also don't forget that you can follow us and be part of the community too over on our social medias, which can all be found over at ratetherecord.ca, our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all of that over there at ratetherecord.ca. And hey, even though you can do all that for free, if you did feel like financially supporting the show, there is that option over on ratetherecord.ca as well. But the separate website is ko-fi.com/ratetherecord. Be part of the RTR club. You know, you'll get your shout out. You'll get your name on a card at the end of each one of our videos, or I haven't figured out how to do that with audio yet, but we'll get there when we get there. Bonus content, exclusive content just for Ko-fi. And also, hey, if you got some music that you want us to listen to, we'd be glad to discuss one of your songs and rank them exclusively over on ko-fi.com/ratetherecord. So hey, check that out too.
And you might even get a bonus 5 minutes of Savannah ASMR.
Breathing heavily into the microphone.
It would just be me miking up my cat while she sleeps. So.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like eating something. Like, so you're going to do a mukbang then?
Oh no, I find that disgusting.
Thank you. as do I. I don't understand. I
used to watch them, and then like it's like sometimes you'll do something, and then one day you're like, ew, stop.
Especially the ones that get real sloppy. But hey, you know what? We're not going to talk about mukbangs. That's disgusting. We got a whole show to discuss today. And today we're actually celebrating an anniversary for an album. And I think this is going to be like what the third, if not only the third band so far we've done in the Mount Rushmore of grunge music. So today we are looking at Alice in Chains and their 1992 album, 30 Years Old, Dirt.
Ooh, so dirty.
Yeah, but I think it is only the third because we haven't done Soundgarden yet, so that's definitely up there.
Oh, yeah. Duh. I'm so stupid. I'm like, who else at Pearl Jam? Duh.
Yeah, we've done Pearl Jam twice. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I never think of them as grunge, so it always slips my mind.
Yeah, I know, but I don't either because they seem a little too clean for it, but at the same time, they always get pressed right into that scene, especially where they came from. So, I mean, hey, whatever. They're on that Mount Rushmore, I guess.
Yeah.
So, if you are new here to the podcast, I'll say hello to you in a minute because I want to welcome back everyone we've had here first. Hey, glad to have you back. Glad that you're being part of this episode, listening to this album with us. So, again, make sure you keep doing that. Be part of the community. Thank you for being here. But if you are new, hello, I'm back to you now. Welcome to the show. Enjoy your stay. Just like the people who've been here before, we want you to be part of the community. We want you to be comfortable, be part of the discussion, and just have a good old time. But that also means that you don't know what we do on the podcast here. No problem. I got you covered. So each week, Savannah and I will choose an album, be it completely at random. We'll just choose our own more often than not. Sometimes, like today, an anniversary album. Something's turning 20, 30, 40, something like that, 50. Regardless, we may very well cover it. Or sometimes we get requests like last week. No, the week before was a request. Last week was System of a Down. We've had a request this season. We've had many last season too. We're looking for more. So by all means, yes, more request albums. But regardless, we will choose an album. We discuss the songs at length. We rank the songs, and then we rate the record. You did it early. I did it late. That's the only way I could think to push that one through. So that's what we do here on the show, rating the record and all that such. But before we get into any of that, of course, we kind of have to tell you a little bit about what we're doing today. And we mentioned it's Alice in Chains and their album Dirt. So Savannah, if you would, tell us a little bit about the band and the album and all the happy stuff that comes with it.
That's me. I'm Savannah.
You might be.
Alice in Chains was formed in Seattle, Washington in 1987 by guitarist Jerry Cantrell and drummer Sean Kinney. Bassist Mike Starr and Lane Staley on vocals joined not long after. Alice in Chains is and was often associated with the grunge movement, and being from Seattle, it wasn't easy to shake that label going forward. The band was signed to Columbia Records in 1989 after Soundgarden's manager heard their 1988 demo. Their first full-length album, Facelift, was released in mid-1990. It wasn't an instant success until they were being played on MTV. Late 1992 saw the release of Dirt, their second album and the topic of today's show.
Hey.
Dirt was released on September 29th, 1992 on Columbia Records. It was recorded in Seattle, Los Angeles, and Burbank, California, and produced by David Jordan and Alice in Chains. 5 well-known singles featured on Dirt are Wood, Them Bones, Angry Chair, Rooster, and Down in a Hole. The album's topics center heavily around depression, drugs or heroin, war, pain, and relationships. So pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
Dirt peaked at number 6 on the Billboard 200 and would stay on the chart for 2 years. It has been certified multi-platinum in North America and gold in the UK and Australia. It was nominated for a Best Hard Rock Performance with Vocal Grammy, along with 10 other instances for the band between 1992 and 2019, but alas, no win. In 2019, Rolling Stone ranked Dirt as number 6 on its list of the 50 greatest grunge records, and Pitchfork gave it an 8.7 out of 10. Entertainment Weekly gave it an A grade, and would you believe this? AllMusic gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
Still pretty damn good.
I know, but it's not a 5. I read that going, whoa, they didn't pay them enough. Uh-oh.
Damn, it's like the lowest score they've ever given an album, period.
Right?
And they probably heard Gratitude.
Oh my God. Oh, that was a 4.8 minimum.
4.55. Just, yeah, Dirt beat out Weezer's Gratitude for worst album reviewed.
Ouch. Ouch.
Well, I mean, I don't think we'll be as scathing as AllMusic is about this album today. It's hard to say, but we'll know soon enough because it's about time we actually start diving into this album. So, hey, let's get into it. The very first single, too, song number 1, Them Bones.
What an abrupt beginning to an album and to a song. It did not lead up to anything. Yeah, it was just, here it is. and that's it. And I like that. It definitely set the tone for the rest of the album.
Yeah, and I also said it was a great explosive start to the album because like no easing you in. It's just like punch number one, like as if this song wasn't supposed to be the first, but they probably did it just to really wake people up immediately.
Yeah, yeah.
And the best part is the song's not even that long. It's like 2.5 minutes. So I mean, like, it wakes you up pretty quickly and then gets into like the rest of what it wants to do. Mm-hmm. I actually never knew this song was that short. Like I've heard it a bunch of times on the radio, but like I never suspected 2.5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And even when you said that, I had to scroll down my notes and go, oh shit, he's right. Yeah. It always felt longer, but not in a tedious way, just in a, maybe I thought I heard another chorus or something, but I don't know. I like it regardless. They really hit the nail on the head in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, and I feel like this is one of the more interesting songs on the album too when it comes to like composition, because like look how progressive they're being with this like 7/8 time signature, and then the chorus goes back to 4/4. So hey, because like I remember listening to the song when I was younger and realizing that like if you try to bob to 4/4, you can't, because like 1 2 3 1 2.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a 7/8 time signature. So now that I know what the hell that kind of stuff is, I'm like, hey, that's pretty neat that they would do that, especially in like a scene that wasn't necessarily known for it at the time.
Yeah.
Like, especially grunge music. Like you're not really used to doing that kind of weird stuff, but hey, they did it.
Yeah. I always knew that it sounded weird, and I don't think I really liked it when I was younger. But yeah, just sort of getting used to it and sort of appreciating it a little bit more. I think this is definitely rose in the ranks of not only Alice in Chains songs, but just songs in general, where it's like, oh, I didn't like this before, but I hear it with fresh ears now.
And that's hard to do, especially when you've heard a song way too many times. And I mean, we've gone through this. It was on
Guitar Hero too, right?
That too, yeah. And it was also in GTA San Andreas, and I played that a lot too. So I mean, another like full exposure to it. And I mean, we've been through it many times where we've heard a song we're very, very familiar with, and we're trying to be fair about how we're like ranking it, and not necessarily saying, oh yeah, nostalgia, either I love it or hate it because of it.
Yeah. That's definitely a hurdle for me, because I'll hear it and I'm like, oh, I love this song. But I guess objectively, you're kind of like, no, it's not that good of a song. And I'm like, but I love it. I like it.
And that's kind of how I felt like with Midlife Crisis by Faith No More, how it's like, it's not a bad song, but it's definitely not as good as I remember being on just passive listens.
Yeah. More critical ears.
Yeah. So the only other thing I really have to say about this track is about like a lot of the vocal harmonies, how much I like them. Nice. And I wrote this at the beginning. It's definitely a blanket statement, though I guess I didn't know how much it would be at this point, but I said, I have a feeling that will be a returning feature. And I mean, like, I should have known, because like all Alice in Chains songs have like very rich vocal harmonies in them. So like him and Jerry Cantrell are just like going off like crazy, and they usually sound pretty great too.
Yeah. I'm just going to use this as a segue, I guess. Really, just to add on to that, I said the exact same thing, that sometimes the harmonies aren't completely obvious, but it does add this sort of fullness to it, and I find that fabulous. I love it, and I like Jerry Cantrell enough that the only Alice in Chains related album or CD that I have is Jerry Cantrell's second solo record.
Yeah, fuck him. I mean, fuck the band. I just want his stuff.
Well, I mean, I really like Go. So.
I like how you went enough out of your way just to pull out the CD for that quick little
that
segue.
Was it.
Because if I didn't even give you the time to do that, you'd just be sitting there with your desk, like staring at it, like white knuckling. Like, I gotta show it.
So there are so many things, like just in my text reviews, that as I'm listening to the song, I'm like, oh, this is a funny quip. I'm going to say this. And then I don't get the chance to. And I always go back to it going, okay, what song can I say this? Because I think it's hilarious. And then certain shows I don't get to say it. So I'm like, all right, mental bank for the next time.
Yes, I do everything in my power to cut you off when I can.
Yeah, it's quite obvious now after 50 shows now. So
51, cough, nudge, wink.
No, but you haven't done it to me yet. So
supposing so.
Yeah.
Alrighty then, we'll move on. Song number 2 now. Damn That River. Damn the Torpedo. Oh.
Okay.
Sorry, I just had a bad flashback.
So now I see my first note here. If I didn't show the CD or the album last song, I definitely would have here. So as someone who has heard both Jerry Cantrell's solo albums, I see why they've been called an extension of Alice in Chains because right from the beginning note, this sounds like it should be off of 2002's Degradation Trip, which is the album that I own. The beginning riff of this song just reeks of this album. And I've seen some reviews of it. They're like, oh, it just sounds like Alice in Chains. Well, yeah, one, no shit. He's like a primary songwriter of, the band. But God, it's just, I feel like I've heard this song before I actually heard it. And I think cruising on that nostalgia, I like it.
Okay, well, it's good that you said you liked it because I immediately want to start saying that the opening guitar riff immediately sounds like butt rock heaven.
Oh yeah,
Like I was like, as soon as I heard it, it was like, you're listening to the station, nothing but rock. It's just, oh my God, it fitted to a T. It was kind of disgusting in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was heavy, power chord central. Like, I mean, the pace isn't too fast, but I mean, like, you can still headbang into it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too fast. You're not doing like the psycho, like Slayer type headbanging.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of which, Tom Araya makes an appearance later in the album. So
I am so pleased with how these tangents are just tying right back in. We're getting better at this. I like this.
Well, I guess it's fitting too that it would come up because I mean, like, there's a lot of metal portions of the album too, and also the era in which this album came out. Like Slayer was kind of on a decline at this point, I think.
Really? When did
they might have been because like
they start
in the 80s.
Oh,
like early 80s. They were like one of the like premier thrash bands that like really introduced the genre. Like them and Metallica were like the big two in the beginning.
Oh, I like the Underdog. I like Anthrax.
That too. Well, people love Anthrax. I mean,
yeah.
But yeah, like for this song though, it happens a couple of times in this album, but I tried not to make too much of a point of it, but like the mix felt weird in the headphones a little bit. It felt a little bit flat, and like it might be like that the bass was nothing but just a thick bassy tone. There was like nothing else to it.
I hate that.
I don't know. Yeah, it was just a bassy tone without texture, just a boneless bass, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean, it just kind of got me the wrong way.
Yeah. I this time didn't listen to it in headphones, so I think perhaps I was getting it flat altogether. Did not even notice. But there are a couple songs in here that I do go out of my way to mention the bass because I actually do hear the strings, I hear the notes, and I really like that. But when it is just a generic sort of bass buzz, that is kind of it's kind of a downer.
Yeah, especially someone like you who loves it so much, you feel like you're missing out on so much more.
Right? Like you hear no melody, no nothing. All you feel is just this weird vibration in your chest that you're like, okay, but you're not giving me any context to what you're doing to me here.
And it's strange too, only because like there are songs on this album where like the bass has a little bit more of a run to it, and you can actually hear what's going on, and like it sounds more interesting. With this one, it's just kind of like they threw it in at the last minute, and it was like undermixed, and it's just like whatever, just crank the bass portion.
And now the ones that we listened to were the remastered. Would that have made any difference in like the mix and everything?
I would have to hear the original.
Yeah, because I don't really know what remastering entails.
Just it's usually a different producer's take on it, which doesn't differ too much usually.
Okay.
Modernizes the sound a little bit, or even like maybe it's the same producer just with a different idea for it.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Realistically, like most people could listen to a remastered album and not know the difference. Like it's really subtle.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like some people, like if you listen to the first song, the original, then you listen to the remaster, like you might hear some subtle differences.
Okay. Interesting. I wonder if you could hear the bass heavier in the original, but who knows?
Potentially. Yeah.
Cool.
Other than that, I just say that, it's a heavy track that moves along fairly consistently, but like, yeah, nothing really much grabbed me about this one, so I don't know what else to say about it.
I made note that I'm starting to learn what these guitar solos sound and feel like, and they're easier to identify, and not only just with this album or this band, but just as we've been going. I'm finding it easier to kind of go, oh, this is an Alex Lifeson thing, or oh, this is John Petrucci of Dream Theater, like you hear the tone in their solo and the way they play. And I definitely am starting to point out Jerry Cantrell solos. So I hear it going, yeah, that couldn't be anybody else.
Well, to be fair, you also have a lot of exposure with the solo stuff. So I mean, like you kind of get the idea for what you're listening to.
This is true. And a lot of the solos on this album in particular are all sort of I don't want to say carbon copy, but they're fairly similar in their take and their delivery. So
it's kind of like how you can usually point out like a Slash solo almost anywhere, because he's got a very distinctive bluesy but metal, like blues and metal kind of go hand in hand, but he has a way of like separating it but also melding it together in such a strange new way. I don't know, it's hard to, I'm not here to talk about Slash though.
Yeah, I find in this album just as a whole that I feel that the solos are sort of kept to the same duration or the same sort of amount of bars and everything. So it kind of, I don't know, it all kind of,
and in the same place too, because like all the songs are like composed the same, like verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, boom.
Yeah, sometimes the solo will come before the bridge, but that's really the only shakeup.
Ooh, like how edgy.
Ooh, right?
They move the solo over one space to the left.
Oh, they're like, let's get a little stale. We'll go, and everyone goes, yes, good job. All
right, we'll move on now then. So song number 3, this is where we start getting to the longer tracks now. Rain When I Die. And I mean, like, the entire opening of this one was a very interesting listen at the very least. I do like that bendy bass riff that you kind of hear going through. I really enjoyed that. Again, this is one of those tracks where you could actually tell what was going on. It wasn't just a boom, boom, boom type bass, you know?
Yeah.
There's also like guitar feedback, like light riffing, kind of like, you know, made for a very weird atmosphere and everything like that. My visual for this one was, it's like walking through a dingy and dark metal bar looking for your next fix.
That's funny because I just put it feels like I'm walking through mud or quicksand listening to this. So
some sort of trudging is happening here.
Yes, most definitely. Like you said, I love that sort of wobbly beginning, the bends and the whammy bar, everything. It's just, it kind of, I don't know, kind of puts me on edge where I'm like, I don't really know what they want me to like feel, but all I feel is unsettled.
Yeah. And kind of jumping off that though, and like going from just the instrumentals to Lane Staley, this is another kind of blanket statement I could probably make, but like specifically in this song, even with the rasp that he has in his voice, because he very clearly does.
Yeah.
I mean, he makes like belting out these high notes seem so effortless.
Yeah.
Like you can hear him like pushing for it, but at the same time, like you can hear other singers like really strain themselves to hit certain notes. He somehow sounds like he doesn't. Like, and it's fascinating to me just how good he is at doing it.
So listening to this album, my vocal register is more like Eddie Vedder and less like Mariah Carey. So I can sing fairly deeply, but I can't really do anything mid or higher. So singing to this, I'm like, okay, this is fine. And then when he goes higher, I kind of sort of cut off and I'm like, oh, I can't do that.
Leave it for the background singers.
Yeah. Like I can't get there. So it's whenever that happens, it's kind of, I look to them going, wow, you're pretty good at this. Like, okay.
And like, I think there was even a video of him on like a live video of Lane Staley online. It was a live performance of like Man in the Box. And the chorus, when he does those high notes and belts them out, he actually hits a higher note in the live version too. Like he pushes his vocal tone up just one or two more notes there, and just again kind of makes it seem effortless. So it's just like it's too bad you wasted it. That's all. Like obviously referring to his drugs that killed him.
Yep. Yeah.
Yikes.
He I don't want to say this as it sounds like a joke, because it's definitely not, but I'm just glad that he lasted a lot longer than, you know, most of those singers that sort of passed away from the same thing in the early to mid 90s, because he passed away in 2002. Like,
but was he not
young.
Also a member of the 27 Club?
I don't think so.
Really?
No, I think he was in his 30s.
Well, if you want to look that up, I can see you looking down. Then I'll just kind of mention like one thing I really like in this track is the drumming itself. I think it's really great. It's just too bad that like for the most part, it feels like it takes like a backseat to the guitar, which I guess isn't surprising because Jerry Cantrell's songwriter, right?
It's 34.
34?
He was 34.
Oh, then who am I thinking of 27? There's several people.
It was Kurt Cobain.
Yes. Mr. Cobain, who I think him and Lane Staley died around the same date, not year, but like something like, or
yes.
that, or at least Lane Staley his body was found around the same time.
It says April 5th, so I don't know when Kurt Cobain died. I think that's
between that and the 8th. I think it's got to be something like that. So, but regardless, yes, Lane Staley did pass away quite a long time, 20 years ago. So 20-year anniversary of that already long past, obviously.
Holy shit.
I was gonna say that the song went on a little long, but I did like the ending with like the guitar bending and the humming. I thought that was really cool stuff.
Yep.
Except the fake out, which
You're reading my last two notes. That's exactly what I said.
Because like, why though? Because like, it's like that helter skelter thing all over again, where it's like some shit's going on, it gets quieter, comes back, and just ends. It's just like you didn't have to do it, and like it didn't do anything by coming back. It just like let itself ring out or something. Like, just fuck off.
That's exactly what I said. I said it didn't add much, and it's far too early in this album to pull that kind of tomfoolery.
Although I don't think I would have taken it later on either.
Yeah, just fuck off with it altogether.
It was fine, like just
and that was
like
it.
Going down and everything like that. And it could have just faded out, been good, and we could have moved on to the next track, which we're doing right now.
Oh no! You can keep segueing. I was just gonna make a joke. What if it came back and then another verse and a chorus came in?
Well, then I'd push it down in a hole. There you go. Thanks for the setup there.
Oh, no problem.
Song number 4, Down in a Hole.
We actually don't rehearse these.
No, that was just brilliant the way it worked.
Oh my God. Alice in Chains really does these like slower sort of moody songs very well. I think I like these ones a little bit more than their sort of heavier ones. I feel like their heavier ones can get pulled. They're pulled off by, many other bands, but just these sort of slower sort of, feel for me, I'm broken songs. They top tier.
Well, and especially with like the usually heavily emotional content of the lyrics.
Yeah.
Which I didn't read the lyrics in this album. Like I'm aware of like songs like Rooster and stuff like that. So I mean that's one thing, but I can only imagine that some of the other songs aren't exactly all sunshine and rainbows. That's what I can make the assumption of and feel safe about.
Oh yeah. They're definitely not about how much they love their mothers, for sure.
I wouldn't, especially fathers. That kind of comes up too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. The nylon strings in the intro, I really thought was a nice touch. It's usually a welcome tone when it's used properly, and like this is one of those times it is. So I'm very much here for it. But then it immediately transitions into this like holy shit chorus effect, like Metropolis on the guitar that just, I don't know, it feels like they just discovered the effect and were super excited to use it. It was a little heavy on the mix in the headphones. I wasn't digging that too much. Not to talk shit on the song at all, but just that portion of it was just like, my God, calm down, kids.
Yeah. I can see that. I didn't make note of that, but I did make note that I really like the cymbals in this song. I feel like the song was like, and I've used this analogy many times before, was like a good meal, but then just having those kind of like just little embellishments here and there. It kind of like is like adding salt to that meal where it was already good, but now it's even better. And sometimes when I'm listening to stuff and I kind of visually see that like I don't really know how to describe it other than I can literally see where the cymbals would fit in to like the blank spaces. And when I think, oh, this would sound good here, and they actually do it, not only do I think I'm a genius, I'm like, oh, I could totally be a record producer. Easy peasy.
Yeah, probably.
Wow, that was rude.
I said, yeah, probably.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyone watching your face, stink face. But no, like I just think I'm like, wow, this obviously was obvious if someone like me would think, oh yeah, that would sound good there. So, well,
to be fair too, like a lot of the cymbal placement on a drum, cymbals are usually like in strategic places, and like, you know, your crash is ahead of you, you got your ride low to the right of you and your hi-hat to the left of you, like that kind of thing. So I mean, like that will usually be incorporated into the mix as well, so long as it's mixed mono. So yeah, if you hear like cymbals kind of like going across everywhere, chances are it's because like that's where they were mic'd and mixed in, I guess.
I don't know.
This is record
I like
producer.
it. I like it. Well, like I just mean like where it would fit in the song in general, where it's you hear the sort of acoustic or sort of the lighter guitar, and then you hear the sort of like little hits on the hi-hat, and like you could have left that out. That would have been fine. But having that in there is just like, it's just, I don't know, it adds it. It's nice. It's nice.
Just kind of on the note of things sounding nice too, like, yeah, the verses in general I really like, because like they have a much wider sound to them. So I guess that kind of fits in with your whole like cymbal idea there.
Yeah.
Like a lot more of an emotional feel to the instrumentals in this one, which obviously, I mean, it's there because it's a much quieter and more emotional track.
Yeah.
There's great harmonies in the bridge. I mean, there's great harmonies everywhere. I mentioned harmonies a few times in this, but again, that's more or less a blanket statement at this point.
Yeah.
I do love how like just how well and written they're how well they're written and performed. There you go. I can actually speak properly. But my only concern is, you know, when they harmonize the words, "I want to be inside of you." I'm sorry, gentlemen, I'm not that cheap.
Yeah, I stopped singing it with them during that part.
You're like, I wanna be in.
Yeah. You
would, wouldn't you?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Listen, gentlemen. You gotta wine and dine me before you grind me, okay? So I mean, like.
Yeah, that's a shirt motto for sure.
Wine and dine me, then you grind me. There you go.
Oh my fuck.
That's gonna be on some sleazy shit at like a nightclub or something like that.
Yeah.
That'll be a lyric. That better be a lyric somewhere.
Oh my god, please. You do industrial stuff. Please, that fits. That fits.
I don't sing about sex though.
Well, you should. This song, I don't know. I like it. You might as well put a question mark next to it on the sheet. I'm not really sure that it had to be over 5 minutes, though. I mean, not that they don't have anything to say, but they probably could have cut maybe like 1 or 2 or 3 choruses, because there were a lot.
Well, and yeah, it's not that they don't have anything to say, but like they loop back on themselves a lot. I've used that term before, and I'm using it again because like they don't really do anything else to like warrant an extra verse. Like you can reprise a verse and make it sound a little more wild or just change it up a little bit. But they don't even really do that. So it's like, why are we here again?
Yeah. Like some of them, like maybe the second half of the chorus, it'll go like maybe, I don't really know if it goes up an octave, but it sounds a little different. But most of them are just carbon copy repeats, and there's not much.
Yeah, like we went back the first time because you forgot your keys. Understandable. We went back the second time because you forgot your wallet. Be a little more attentive next time. We went back the third time because you forgot your sunglasses. Fuck off, you're staring at the sun.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I'm thinking.
Yes. All right. Yes, I think we can move on with that being the end.
Just a sick man, Lane Staley. I don't know. That was the bad transition anyways. Anyway, song number 5, Sick Man.
I look forward to the next transition. It's going to be terrible.
I don't have one, but yeah, I'm pretty sure you'll have something.
It's not at all. From the beginning of this song, I am getting Stone Temple Pilots, and I'm well aware that I think their first album, they either came out around the same time or Stone Temple Pilots was later. Maybe they tried to be a copy, but that's all I hear from the beginning of this song, at least. And it feels sludgy. I don't know if I've ever used that word before. It doesn't feel too sludgy, but sludgy nonetheless.
It's possible you have, but I mean, 51 reviews later, who the hell knows anymore?
Oh, that's it. Go back. $10 to anyone who does that.
Yes, it's through hours upon hours. I don't even know how many hours at this point.
Go to bed. I can't. I need $10.
You can make more than that at work tomorrow. I don't care. This is free.
Exactly.
Not really. You're still doing work for us, dummy.
Yeah. Yeah, don't be stupid.
I do like the percussive work to start everything off in the beginning of this one, but unlike sounding like STP to me, I just said this has 80s metal runoff written all over it.
Oh.
This just sounds like the tail end of 80s metal, which is just, I don't know. Was it Alice in Chains who kind of originally started as like a hair metal band or something? Like one of these bands that are a completely different style now started off as something kind of crazy, kind of like Pantera did, how they were like glam metal, and then they went to like heavy, like thrash metal type shit. Or not thrash, but you know.
From my very brief readings, so the name Alice in Chains came from Lane Staley's old band, who was like glam metal-y stuff.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure what genre or what sort of type of music Jerry Cantrell and the other guys were doing at the time.
So I was partially correct with my glam metal accusation, but maybe that kind of plays something into this one. Then I don't really know. But regardless, there wasn't a whole lot about the song that I liked too much. It's not terrible, but I do like how slow and bluesy the chorus felt. It might just be some of the guitar work that made it felt that way, but there was something about it that I really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm. I like the bridge with the vocal sample. Kind of reminds me of Metallica's One, only because that's really the only song that I can name off the top of my head that has like sort of stuff like that everyone would really know or have heard of. It adds like this eeriness. No matter what the vocal sample is, it's just, it always has this sort of like, I don't know, it to me, it kind of feels like when you're listening to the radio and another station comes in, it's like some sort of, you know, hijacking of the signal kind of thing. So I always kind of get that feeling. And I kind of got it like an unsure feeling listening to this. Like, I don't know if the bass is like tuned low, or I think I've learned that minor chords make songs sound creepy. So maybe that's what it is, but it's just, it makes me feel off.
Minor chords are referred to as the devil's chords.
And yes.
I mean, that's like a very old terminology for it, but yes, that's like why church music from way the hell back when was usually written in major chords, because God liked those ones and he didn't like minor chords.
What a weirdo. Yeah, it always makes me feel weird.
You're missing out on the best music. What are you doing?
Yeah, stupid.
Stupid ceiling. My favorite part about writing these reviews is when I write something so vague and I don't remember what the hell I was referring to.
My God, I do that all the time.
And first off, I do want to mention, don't worry, I have my own Metallica reference coming up in a little later, because there's something that reminds me of Metallica. But about the bridge, all I wrote was, the bridge was great. Kind of wish we got more of that in the second half of the track. I don't even remember what it sounds like. I didn't describe it in the slightest, so I don't remember what it was. But apparently I liked it enough to make that note while I was listening to it.
Either it's described too much in detail that you kind of just start talking yourself into a circle, or you write nothing and you're like, yeah, let's move on.
But at least people can get what I'm saying. It's good. I don't know. Just
go listen to the song. You'll figure
I especially
it out.
like when insert some sort of audio here. I'll just do like, I'll do a badly recorded track. The drums sounded good.
I agree.
Yeah, just smile, just go along with it in the harsh cut. Okay, next song. The only other one note I have for the song is like, you know, this was another one of those 5.5 minute tracks, and very unnecessary because of how much it loops back on itself. This was one that kind of abused that tactic, and I wasn't very fond of that. Didn't destroy the score of the song, but I had to note it just because of how it was.
Yeah, it's it might not hurt the score here, but it might hurt the repeatability within our individual listening habits. Yeah.
I mean, I'll spoil it and say this song's not on the bottom of my list, but I also don't know how often I'd come back to it. Let's just say that much. Although, again, there are obviously parts I liked, like the bridge for insert audio here.
I agree.
Finally, we're seeing eye to eye on insert audio here. Okay. I have no transition. I have no funny quips. So, song number 6, Rooster.
I had
Cock-a-doodle-doo, I don't know.
So, you not knowing that Them Bones was a shorter song, I didn't know that this song was over 6 minutes. I don't know if the radio has like an edit or if I just don't hate this song.
I have a feeling that part of the middle of it, because like this one is like verse, long chorus, long bridge, verse, chorus, and it's over. So I'm thinking maybe they just cut out some of the bridge for the radio, because yeah, I don't really recall this being 6 minutes on the radio either.
Right? Yeah.
Or maybe you just enjoy it so much that like you just tend not to pay attention. You're just like, hey,
Yeah.
cool song.
Exactly. This sounds more like what I would assume grunge would sound like, just with like during the verse, I don't know. Sometimes I can't discern whether it's guitar or bass, like a tuned up bass or a tuned down guitar. I don't know, but whatever the fuck is going on in the verse, like I like it. It's deep and everything sounds spooky. I like it. I'm into it.
Well, considering the song is about what was this song specifically about his dad's time in Vietnam?
I think so, or his grandfather's, but I think I've heard that story decades ago.
But that's probably also what sets the feeling and the mood of the track. Because I mean, like, can't imagine that was exactly a wonderful time and place to be. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of these Elliott Smith hey gotcha type tracks where it's like, hey, this is a really happy upbeat track. Oh wait, the lyrics are very terrifying.
Yeah, and you're singing along to it, and then it clicks in. You're like, hold on.
Yeah. Obviously, I believe the song is iconic. Like if anyone had to ask me who Alice in Chains was, this would be the first song I tell them. It's like, oh, they're the ones who do Rooster, like Moreover than Man in a Box, More Than Wood, Heaven Beside You, all those like singles that people are aware of.
Yeah.
I feel like Rooster's probably like the top dog of the track.
And it has a memorable song title as well, right? It's not like you can get this mixed up with anybody else.
Well, and the refrain is very memorable. They've come to snuff the rooster. That's all they say. But like, you understand it. It's very easy to sing. So I mean, like,
yeah,
you got everything you need right there.
Those fucking vocals during that, though.
Yeah, when he belts out "We Ain't Gonna Die," but like in the higher notes, though,
like
cool.
That's emotional. Oh my lord.
Well, I mean, I guess like, if you really want to get into what the lyrics are about, like obviously not as I'm talking about him singing it, like if he really wants to get into what the lyrics are about, then I mean, you got to put yourself in that weird mindset of like, you know, watching your friends die, being stuck in this war zone, not even certain of your next breath will be like your last or not. Like that's kind of like the whole idea of the song, and just kind of like the misery of the time. So you got to put yourself in that mindset.
Ugh. Yeah.
Like I don't want to push this back on myself, but like in my own music, like I've written very personal lyrics, and I've gone into certain vocal recordings like kind of having a good day, but I had to put myself in a really shitty, angry mindset in order to belt out some things, and I was just like, this feels unhealthy, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So I mean,
so it's like acting. It's like you kind of put yourself
because
there.
you don't want to fake the emotion. Like if I'm gonna fake being angry in a track, you're gonna be able to tell right away, and like that goes for anyone, including Lane Staley. So I mean, like, you can't fake it. You got to put yourself in it.
Yeah.
Method acting or method singing, I guess. I don't know.
Dang. I don't really have much else for this song that hasn't already been said. I definitely got lost in the song while writing it. I wrote I could get lost in the song, and definitely have. Even it being, like we said, 6 minutes long. I'm trying to write about it, but then I kind of listen to it. And then I listened to it again, and I'm like, oh my God, like 20 minutes has passed and I haven't written down a goddamn thing, and I've already listened to this 3 times. So
yeah, I was kind of in the same boat, because I was also trying to pick it apart at the same time. So like, you know, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Like I like how the bass sounds in the verses and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, I didn't really pay attention to anything else. So then I listen back to like, hey, you know, I kind of like how this, like, you got this like phasey kind of guitar, and then like the occasional like little like licks thrown in every once in a while. That's cool. Oops, I forgot to listen to everything else. Gotta go back and listen to it again. I had a lot of that, and I think the last time that happened was in the second verse, when like there's finally a snare drum, but it's like kind of like a military style drumming, because it's just like that kind of drum roll, like, like it's like slower, obviously, just to go with this very slow, methodical pace. But I really like that that they did that, obviously, too, given what the song is about. So it's very fitting thematically, and it just sounds good.
Yeah. Ugh. If this song had a color, it would be sepia.
Or the color of blood.
Yeah.
Blood in the dirt. There you go.
I feel like I've seen this video, and I'm not I feel like my recollection is that it's either is sort of like a dusty brown filter or it's black and white. I don't recall. But when listening to this, all I can think is like a dust storm or like the album cover, but more brown and not as orange. Yeah. And that's definitely what I get from this.
I think I've seen the video once or twice my entire life, but every time I think about it, I just think of the video for One by Metallica.
Yeah. Okay.
That's not the Metallica reference I was going to make, but I'm just going to bring that up anyway.
Maybe that's why I think it's black and white.
Because you're thinking of One where the guy's like in the hospital bed and he's like talking to himself, and then they're like in this big like hall thing or whatever, and just they're performing whatever first music video. The only other thing I have to say about this track, like, is one thing I really enjoy is like the back and forth, like the quieter and louder portions, because it kind of gives you a lot to go through emotionally in this track. So the verses are obviously very quiet, and they're not exactly building until the pre-chorus of when he says the refrain, "They've come to snuff the rooster."
Yeah.
He says different things too, but mainly around that. Regardless, I like how quiet the verses are, and it kind of brings you into this sense of ease, but like you're not supposed to be here type thing.
Yeah.
And then the chorus comes, just belts everything out, gets heavier, marches right along, like, and then you feel like you're in the war zone. So I don't know. There's a lot to enjoy about that. I really like it.
Yeah, I agree. It is definitely somewhere on my list.
It is definitely the song on my list.
Exactly.
It seems to be the latest meme format at the point of this video, where it's like you'd leave out like certain words, and it's like he was the most actor in this movie. Like, what does that mean? What does that even mean?
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it. We have 14 more songs to go.
Something along the lines of that. But here we are, lucky 7 anyways. Song number 7, Junkhead.
Admittedly, this one sounds quite similar to a couple we've heard already. But having said that, something that I will never tire of is the mimicked or the real use of megaphones. I'm pretty sure I heard some of that, some vocal processing. I'm down. I am super down. There's just something about it that is, it is more aggressive than it needs to be, but aggressive enough that I want more of it.
The megaphone parts?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't find that aggressive at all.
Maybe not here, but just over a blanket statement of my preference for them. I find them aggressive.
Is it because you're thinking of Tomahawk? You can admit it.
Well, there's that and a couple other songs that I've heard that I really like. But yes, I like it.
I'll just kind of skip to that then, because I made a note about those kind of like megaphone things, and like you have like Lane singing, but then you have like this like spoken word kind of like randomly interjected like megaphone just mirroring what he's saying. And just, I don't know, I found it really distracting, to be honest. And like, I don't know. I felt like it was kind of unnecessary. Like they could, if they did it differently, mix it differently, then maybe, but just the way it is now, I wasn't too fond of.
Yeah.
I will say, kind of like on the note of composition too, is this song has like this is where my lack of music theory comes through, because there's certain terms I'm not aware of, but I think it's called 3/5. Like the song's in 4/4 time, but like you could play like 3 notes and then 5, but it's still going to equal up to 8 at the end. So you're still going to have your 4/4. So you're like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They do that in this song, and I really like that. I like when bands do it. It seems like an easy enough thing to do, and I think I started to really like that because I noticed how often Trent Reznor does it, and like obviously, you know, being a big fan of Nine Inch Nails for a long time, and he was one of the first artists I paid attention to that was doing that, and I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool thing. And so just ever since then, I've really appreciated it. So I liked it enough to make a note in this one, although I will say, like, the writing though still felt kind of like there was still something kind of like cliche and campy feeling about it in a very metal kind of way, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, like something about it felt kind of weird to me.
Yeah. I literally don't have anything else for this. This one was not my favorite. I think just solely based on it. To me, it just sort of sounded like things that I've already heard. My only note is just, what's my drug of choice? Heroin. It's heroin. It's definitely heroin.
Yeah. Why are you asking us?
Yeah, exactly. I'm listening to that going,
it's well documented,
like,
fool.
We know this. Yeah. That's
cocktail
literally
of heroin and some sort of alcohol, probably several different types.
Oh God. Ugh.
We know how that works.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I will say that like I did really enjoy the chorus though. I mean the bass actually has a really good run through it, so I really enjoyed listening to that. There's a really good use of the ride cymbal in this one. It's kind of like, a small but appreciated texture that kind of adds to the sound and the flow of the entire track.
Yeah.
But yeah, being 5 minutes long, other than that, I don't have much else to say either because just there's nothing too grabbing about these tracks, but they're not awful. I will say though, it was one verse too long, and I mean, I've already kind of said that anyways.
Yeah, it's starting to seem like a trend with that.
Well, hopefully it doesn't stay that way because we still have more album to get through. Song number 8, title track, Dirt.
I like the opening guitar riff. It sounds like the Tea Party, but not as in we are Middle Eastern, but we're actually Canadian. I wrote that down, thought it was funny. When I said it out loud, wasn't as funny. But I don't know. It sounds kind of like, I don't know. It sounds different. It got my attention enough. But it still kind of had the same vibe to me as the others so far. I still like the guitar, but aside from that, it was just sort of like, when are we getting back to the good stuff?
So you mentioned Tea Party, and I mean, I guess I can hear that now that I think about it, but this is where my Metallica reference comes in. Because the second the song starts and kind of gets going, I'm thinking to myself, like, man, this really sounds like Wherever I May Roam by Metallica. Because, like, that song starts with a sitar, and, like, so this one kind of, like, although this song doesn't have a sitar in it, but the idea is, like, the riff is almost very similar.
Yeah.
And so, like, the fact that I immediately thought of Metallica right away, I was just like, oh, yeah, that's, like, obviously they're going to be fans of Metallica. I wouldn't doubt it.
I'm going to have to listen to that.
Really, the whole intro sounds like a weird mix of Alive by Pearl Jam and Wherever I May Roam by Metallica. It's just, maybe for Pearl Jam, it was like the bass and the drum that kind of reminded me of the song Alive, but then the guitar was pure Metallica. So I don't know. It was just a weird bastardization of like both of those things.
Yeah. I don't know. It's I don't know if it's good or bad when a song is like, oh, this definitely sounds like another song. I don't know if it's like a compliment or an insult.
I don't mind when bands play on influences, although I've made notes on that in the past. If you do it too heavy-handed, it can be kind of a problem.
Yeah.
I don't want to say this one was heavy-handed, but I mean, at the same time, like, obviously, like, you knew what they were doing. I mean, they knew what they were doing, I should say. But to be honest, though, it didn't really deter me how I felt with the song, 'cause I like Alive by Pearl Jam. I believe that was my number one song when we covered that way back in episode 1.
Wow.
I believe it was. And Wherever I May Roam's not a bad song either. So, I mean, like, it's not terrible. It just wanted to make note of, like, how they're probably really playing into their influences. I do love the slow pacing of this track. I thought that was fantastic. It still feels heavy without being too heavy. That was a weird thing to write because I didn't know what else to say, but it's just like, it's heavy, but it's not like, not really crunching heavy, you know?
Yeah. It's not assaulting my ears.
Yeah, so there was a lot to appreciate in that. So I was really kind of enjoying the pacing of it. I thought there was great work on drums overall. But I want to make a special shout out to the use of the tom drums in the chorus, and the mixing of it in my headphones was very pleasing.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just kind of kept popping up like bubbles in different places. Like, I kind of like that.
Yeah, the more I was listening to the song, the more it was kind of growing on me. It is going to take a little bit more time, but this one, and I think one other one coming up, at the beginning, I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, whatever. And then the more I was listening to it, the more I'm like, okay, I can see myself choosing this song purposely. So it's rising in the ranks quickly.
That's one thing I often notice about you in these reviews too, where it's like you'll mention that you'll listen to a song, you don't think much of it, and then you listen to it a couple more times, you're like, hey, you know what, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
So how often have you gone back and be like, you know what, this wasn't the last song on the list, and now it's like halfway up?
Oh, very often. Or maybe out of say 12 songs, a song will be say 4 or 5, because like it's not going to rise from 11 too much, but from like 4 or 5, and then I think about it going, I really wish we could do that again, because I would probably put that at number 1. So.
Oh, there's that talk of not reprise, of redux. That's what I want, redux.
Yeah, so many.
Eventually, we got to redux the entire. Once we hit episode 100, that's just going to be like we're going to redux the entire thing, and the entire ranking chart, rating chart will look completely different.
Yeah, it's going to be like those TV shows or those movies where not enough time has passed, and then they're already making a new one.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Oh my
How
God.
many
are there?
Batman over the last 2 decades.
God. See, Batman, I feel like it's obvious. It's like you have to have a new Batman. It's kind of like James Bond. Like you just throw a new guy in there, new story, whatever. I didn't even know. New
story. It's the same damn thing all the time.
Yeah,
it's more intense.
But Penguin, Rise from the Dead. I don't know what happens. I don't watch superhero movies. But Spider-Man, I had no idea that they had new Spider-Mans until someone's like, let's go watch Spider-Man. I'm like, no, I've already seen those 3. And they're like, no, there's more. I'm like, why is there more?
And now there's that Spider-Verse movie with like all the Spider-Man in it. And there's so much going on.
I don't get it.
I don't mind those movies, but I haven't really seen many of them, so I don't know.
Yeah, I've never seen any.
Anyway, speaking of Marvel Comics, let's move on to song number 9, Godsmack. And I mean, this song immediately sounds like it was written by like a very edgy bar band.
So Godsmack.
I have a note about that coming up. But yeah, like, it's that kind of band who, like, this sounds like the kind of band who are just like, we're like one song away from like, really striking gold. But then fucking like Bill gets an office job and like Larry gets married. Like fucking damn conformists, like ruin your shot at fame. That's the kind of band I imagine writing this song.
Yeah. Really? Wow. Okay. That is vivid as fuck.
Fucking conformists.
All right. I mean, I didn't really get much imagery like that from this. Again, as this song went on, it was growing on me. Despite listening to this multiple times and saying, oh, it's growing on me and I like it, I don't like the verse vocals. I don't know if it is too much of a... Yeah, it's so weird. It's like, I feel like I can deal with it because I actually do like the chorus. But the more I listen to it, the more it's just kind of like, what? Like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. It sounded too different, but then I've also complained that some songs sound too much alike. So it kind of lies in that like gray area of, was that a good idea or am I just not hearing it right?
You could have gone about it differently. That's, I think, the note that you could leave it off on. Just be like, you could have like, composed it this way or done this with it, but then no, you did this with it, and it was just really strange. Weird.
It was weird. When I heard at the beginning, I was like, did this?
I had to pause it for a minute.
Like, did this clip to a different playlist? Like, am I still listening? Like, oh my God, I've never heard the song before, obviously.
Who sings the verse? Do you know who it is? I couldn't find it on the notes anywhere. Is it Jerry or is it Lane?
I'm not sure. I'd have to listen to it again.
Just because it's so wild that it's hard to say.
I'm not sure.
It didn't sound as raspy, so I thought it might have been Jerry Cantrell, but I could be wrong about that.
And you're asking chorus? I don't know. I'll have to listen to it again and we'll
not necessarily the chorus, just that weird verse. That's
I want to say Lane, but I also don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe they just gave it off to Mike Starr, so the bassist did it.
Or they brought in like one of the engineers.
Yeah.
Hey, bring in the guy who's mixing. Get off the board and get in front of this mic. Let's do this.
I'm gonna have to get my hands on the CD for this because there's most times that just in those liner notes is way more information than you can get on the internet.
Yeah, and like usually people put liner notes on like Wikipedia, but like not all of them all the time. So sometimes you miss a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I really only have 2 more notes for the song. It's nice to get back into the shorter tracks. I'll say that because this one's under 4 minutes.
Yeah.
It feels like it took forever to get here. This song is an album outlier, but it's just a really low effort composition.
Yeah.
Wasn't digging it, just not my thing. And I mean, is this where the band Godsmack got their name from? For real though?
Oh my God, that is verbatim. That is my note. Is this where Godsmack got their name from?
Although just to seem different, Godsmack made it one word, whereas this is Godsmack, like 2 words.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I can just imagine like fucking a drunk Sully Erna in like the mid '90s or where the hell they came out, and he's just like, "Hey guys, just listen to the band, Godsmack, and that's the name of the band. We're just sing, I'm alive. Let's do it, guys." Just like whatever he said. Okay, sign him. That sounds brilliant. Like
Okay. So I don't know much about Godsmack at all, and I also don't know how tall this guy is, but I always just imagine him being like 5'4".
I was gonna say
just
5'5".
so that height with that voice, I just imagine him coming out of
Shoulders are like a little buffed up.
his little like door in the tree and saying all that, and then going back into his hobbit house.
Yeah, he remembers like just for a little while, and he says like Godsmack clearly, and then he briefly sings the chorus for Alive, and then just like, what did he did he say anything illegal in that? Like, what did he say?
Oh my God.
And then he skitters by you because he's so short. It's like, where'd he go? Okay, I don't actually know his height, so right now this is all just slander.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I have been watching that new Lord of the Rings show, so a lot of that is just really permeating the imagery here.
No matter how tall he is, I feel like Sully is the kind of guy who could probably kick my ass anyway, so I mean, like, I wouldn't doubt that he would just beat my shit down for saying all this.
I feel like to cover our ass, I need to look this up. Okay.
If you can actually find Sully and his height.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, a lot of people will. If I type into Google, it says height and weight. Oh, he's my height. Oh, that's not fun. He's 5. Oh no, it says 5'5".
He is 5'5"?
One says 5'5". That also says 5'5", but Google straight up says 1.68 meters, which is like 5'7", and that's how tall I am. So
he's eye to eye with Tom fucking Cruise.
Yeah, it says 5. So I would say between 5'5" and 5'7". So.
Oh, it's too bad I didn't hold it for 2 more seconds, because I was gonna say if I'm correct and it's 5'5", I'm gonna take a heavy shot of whiskey out of the bottle in the other room there. But I didn't get to say it in time, so it doesn't count anymore.
We'll just get the editor to fix that all up. It's fine.
Yeah, idiot, do it. All right, okay. Well, that's all I gotta say about Sully Godsmack. So
yeah,
that's not even a good representation of his voice, but then again, I just love doing voices.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's number 3 on the ones that I just cannot wait to listen to week
Sully Erna, come join us. Come join me, Dave Mustaine.
Oh my God.
Who the hell's this guy?
Every time, I'm sorry, but every time you do Dave Mustaine and you do that snort, all I imagine is a dog that eats its food too fast.
That's Dave Mustaine. That's simply all that is.
Oh my God.
I'm just building up this lore now of these singers who like hang out with each other. So now it's Sully Erna, Bob Dylan, and Dave Mustaine.
Thank God they're all alive.
Yeah, I guess
They could. Yeah,
they're alive.
Can we move on, please?
I wish we didn't have to, because this next one doesn't even feel worth it. Song number 10, Untitled, featuring Tom Array of Slayer. Whoa, what a feature.
Yeah.
It must be a blockbuster of a song. Must be a thrash metal garden here. Jesus.
I wish I was dead.
43 seconds long. And I did say, I actually said, what a suiting track for Tom Array to be a part of, just because like it has kind of a Rain in Blood type feel to it to get it going at the very least. Like, but this is just ultimately like an interlude between songs. I mean, this probably would have worked fine as an intro for the next track, but I mean, what is this? This isn't a concept album, so what and why is it? Is it a sound test? Like,
I hear I Am Iron Man, and all I put was quite heavy. That's it. Literally nothing else.
So heavy, bro.
Yeah.
Tom Array was taking a break from Slayer. He's like, "Oh, you want me to do vocals in your album? That's great. You guys are like an up and coming band." And you want me to say I Am Iron Man? Okay, gotcha.
He sounds like a perky teenager. Oh, you want to hang out with me? Okay, cool.
I didn't know that he's like heavily Catholic and like all of his lyrics kind of revolve around that in a way.
Really?
God, he sings a lot of anti-abortion songs.
Oh,
fucking
wow.
Slayer. Who would thought, right? You think like devil worshipping, whatever the hell, but no, he's like super duper Catholic.
Really?
very devout. And when he sings God hates us all, it's because that's how good that Catholics feel.
Yeah.
He hates everything and everyone, but I love him. That's the important part.
I'll have to look that up. Yeah,
I'm not here to shit on religion, though.
Yeah, I'm never going to look that up.
No, I'm going to look that up. Forgets like 3 seconds later.
Yep. And then I got to watch like an entire show to figure out what I was told or what I said I was going to do. No.
And then
I spew this bullshit one time. I don't need to bring it back in. Okay.
And then even when you look it up and you're like, oh, that's what I was going to say. So you go on Google and you're like, fuck, what was it?
I will take ADH meds one day. I swear to God.
Yeah, blame the neurodivergence. Why not? I do.
It's not my fault. It's the way I was born.
I was born with half a lobe. Okay. That's
turn my head. Turn my head. My whole side of my head's caved in.
Yeah, it looks like you got like Randy Savage elbow dropped on your soft spot as a baby. Oh, it looks like I left an awful dent there. Oh no.
Okay, you know what?
Don't sue the Macho Man. I can say that. I'm wearing his fucking shirt. I'm allowed to.
That is the only impression that I will take. I like that one.
Oh, she likes the Macho Man impression. Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's getting into like Dave Mustaine being Macho Man territory.
I'm Macho Man Randy Savage. No, not even close, Dave. What do you mean not close? I think that's closer than Macho Man. You know what? Metallica only kicked me out because I'm the alpha male. I had to bring that up.
Who says that? Who says that?
Dave Mustaine does. This is the most Dave Mustaine thing you could ever say.
Oh my God. Who says that?
I don't know. I love picking on Dave Mustaine, so I guess you could say I don't hate to feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Song number 11, Hate to Feel.
All right. I've gone first the last 10. Please.
That's bullshit. I know I've gone at least twice. I can appreciate the approach to how the composition sounds in the verse. Mm-hmm. It's different from what we've heard so far, but quite honestly, it's just not doing it for me. I hate the verses so much. I do like how it builds up leading to the chorus, but I fucking hate that. Just keep fucking going.
I like that. I didn't like that.
And I especially hated the vocals match it. Like I was hoping like Lane could sustain some notes or something on top of it to kind of like add his own layer, but it's just stop. It's like cookie cutter.
Yeah.
I'm very animated to the audio listeners. I'm being very animated today.
Yeah. He's ripping out clumps of his own hair.
But not selling them like Savannah is.
Yeah, no. I have a problem. I'm actually getting another haircut tomorrow, so it took
you so long to get the first one, and now it's very easily getting the second one.
I fucking hated the first one, so we're getting it done again. It
didn't look that bad. Stop it.
I'll shave it off. Anyways, the verses, they seem heavy, like not heavy sound wise, but heavy as in weight wise, I guess. It kind of feels like they were dragging, but then it kind of picks up and starts rolling. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what about the verses you didn't like, but I just felt that it was sort of like you're pulling a weight and you're trying to run. It was just dragging.
It was just the way it was all composed, just like that. Because like it didn't change at all. The vocals were right on top of the guitar with it. Like they could have, again, you could do your own thing. Like maybe do slower, more like sustained vocals. Yeah. I think that would be super cool because that way you're adding like this smooth layer on top of these like choppy cookie cutter guitars.
So you didn't like the last part of the verse or like the tail end of the verse. I didn't like the beginning. Actually like the part you don't.
No, I like the second part of the verse when it starts picking up towards the chorus. That's the part I like because at least it gets like a little better at that point. Yeah. It's the first part I don't like.
Interesting.
Because it's just like pure cookie cutter, like what the hell is this?
I'm going to go ahead and say just from this little interaction here that we're probably not going to match this song this
I don't know,
week.
It's probably pretty close.
But there's something about this song that I can't really put my finger on it. I feel like I've heard it before. It may sound similar to something I already like. I did feel like the song was on the longer side.
Well, I mean, 5 minutes and 15 seconds. So.
Yeah, it felt longer at least.
One thing I at least enjoyed about the song was that there was like a lot of vocal layering in the chorus, which again happens a lot in this album, but it sounds good here. When I wasn't liking the verse, so I had to make a note about it for the chorus. That and just some of the guitar work was interesting, so at least it caught me for that at the very least. The bridge that had like this solo and like a very bluesy style bass to it was a really cool portion, but like unfortunately that's kind of where it ends for me, because it's just like beyond that we go back to the da-na-na, da-na-na. No, for good.
Yeah. Aside from me actually liking that part, I didn't really note too much about this one. I have a lot more about the next one.
I was gonna say there's only 2 more tracks anyway.
I scroll through, I'm like, yeah, it's just the next one. Yeah.
God, it's so hot in this basement. I'm getting all flushed. I'm like, I can see my hair in the webcam getting all messy and stuff because I'm like all sweaty. I don't know why it's so hot down here. I have windows open and nothing's working.
Yeah, it's you're on fire with all of your anger and energy and impersonations.
Sitting in my angry chair.
Oh my fucking God.
Thank you for that setup. Song number 12, Angry Chair.
The way that you go about it, you're all like chipper now, as if everything you said was a lie just to get to that segue.
No, it just worked because when you said anger, I was like, oh, angry chair.
Oh, motherfucker.
And what am I sitting in? A chair.
Ah, my God.
So there is cool guitar work going on for the first little while on the track. I dug it. I do like the low, clean strings are like kind of consistently in the background of this track. So, hey, already feeling better about this one than I did the previous.
Okay, now I'm going to make note about the drums. I heard it in the last song, definitely in this one, and I hope that I can kind of get my point across appropriately. It sounds like, hold on, I really have to read my notes because I said a lot of words that make no sense.
And they're not even written in the correct order.
Okay, so, oh God, I'm having a seizure now. The drums, they feel so nonchalant. And I don't know how to describe that other than it doesn't feel mechanical. It just feels kind of like he's just sitting there playing with like a limp wrist and he's just doing his thing. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to make some dinner later and blah. But everything sounds on point and like perfect. And just, it doesn't sound like forced. It doesn't sound forceful. It kind of sounds like jazz drumming. Like it doesn't in sound, but it does in sort of feel. I really hope that gets to somebody and you guys understand what I'm trying to say. I mean, but
a lot of rock and metal drumming are based around blues and jazz itself. So I mean, like you're not too far off the ball here.
Yeah, the way that it sounds, and specifically in this song, is pleasing. It is incredibly pleasing to me. I like it. I don't know if he gets enough credit, but Sean Kinney, good job.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier in the review too, like it's too bad that a lot of the drumming takes a back seat to like the guitar, especially like, again, maybe it's because it's the remastered version, I don't know, but like listening to my headphones, like the guitar was obviously very heavy in the mix, and sometimes like some of the better drum work was like a little buried.
Yeah.
So just, I don't know, maybe it's a Jerry Cantrell thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to say he's egotistical. I can't say that anyways because I literally know very little about the man except that he's a guitar player.
Yep. I know he's funny. That's really it because I've seen him in.
I know that he's tall and blonde. Yes,
very very blonde. I don't really know what to say about the song. It's one of those ones that like gives me goosebumps in the back of my skull when I listen to it. So it's like I know there's a word for it that I never remember.
Yeah, tumors.
That was a movie with Kevin Bacon.
No, that was Tremors.
Oh, right.
Try again.
Right, I have those too.
Cool.
But yeah, like I really like the guitar bends, which I'm pretty sure sort of are similar to the last song, where it's sort of the end of the verse is sort of a bend and then the vocals bend with it. Mm-hmm. I like that. I don't mind it. I don't hear it in any other songs, but Lane Staley era Alice in Chains songs, so I can deal with that. But aside from that, this song it makes my brain feel things.
as brains should feel. Yes.
Yes.
At least lively ones.
Yes.
I don't know. I had a problem. The chorus kicked in because it felt like a whole other song, and it was not the greatest transition from verse to chorus at all.
Yeah.
Like, it bothered me every time it happened. It would like, it changes keys, and like, I don't mind if something changes key, but like, this one didn't work. I don't know. It didn't feel good to me at all to hear it, and so it was very distracting. And I feel like they could have, like, this song is what, 4 minutes and 48 seconds. They could have done a lot more with this track, but they just kept bringing it back to that chorus over and over again, and that just kind of blew it for me. Just, I don't know. This is another one of those ones where it's like, it's not a terrible track if I ignore the chorus, but I mean, it's the chorus. It's like one of the more important parts of the song.
Yeah, it's the one that's going to stick with you when you walk away from it, right?
Yeah, but I can only imagine the ultimate shit show song would be the verse of "Hate to Feel" in the chorus of this song.
Oh my God.
All like just squished together into one. Just like, this fucking blows.
And then it's just smash cut to you throwing a CD out your window.
Yeah, I mean, I'd feel myself putting it in the microwave and watching all the blue sparks fly.
Ugh.
Fun fact, I did that when I was a kid. I put a CD in the microwave.
I accidentally put a glass cup with a gold rim in the microwave, not knowing that it was actual gold, I guess. So when I'm standing at my eye level microwave and there's just this huge flash. Oh my God, I thought I was dead. Like, I thought that was what the afterlife was going to look like. Holy shit.
Oh, I mean,
scary.
When I put, I could have been a Prozac CD this was like when I was like 9 or 10 years old.
How dare you disrespect them?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure my sister wasn't happy because it was her CD.
Oh God.
Yeah, this was like when I was 9 or 10. I put it in, and I don't think I've ever seen those shades of blue in my life, because I was like, I put it in, press start. For the first second, fine. Second, it starts to get a little light. Third second, just fucking intense seizure-inducing light show in the microwave. So I punched the stop button, open it up, and just like, it's sizzling after like 3 seconds, and like there's cracks all over it. Like, it's not like shattered, but like there's like lines all over it.
Oh my God. Ugh.
Scary stuff.
Yeah, you're like, well, my house is burnt down and I'm dead. That's so scary.
All because I wanted to know what a CD looked like in the microwave.
Jeez.
Go ahead, kids, try it. It's actually kind of a cool science experiment. Don't do it.
Oh, hell no.
But if you could, would you? Ha 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 ha! Song 13, the final song on the album, Would, which I will initially say right off the top, this is an unusual choice for the final song on the album.
That was my first note. Never in a million years would I have thought this song would be the last on an album.
This, to me, feels like it was suited way more as the first song on side B.
Yeah.
I think this would be excellent to open up side B, but like, to close out the album. Like, I get this isn't a concept album. They're not really being consistent with like any sort of story, but I mean, really, this and Angry Chair should have swapped places. I think Angry Chair would have been a better ender overall.
Yeah. I do like how this song, like how this whole song ends, because it's not a fade out. It's not anything. It just ends on vocals and then sort of a of the drums, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I really like how the album ends. It's not like none of that bullshit fake out stuff either. So that was cool. But this song, it just doesn't feel like it drags at all. I don't know if that really lends itself to only being 3 minutes, 30 seconds, maybe a little less. But yeah, it tells you what it wants to, and then it fucks off. I like that. Yeah.
And kind of going back to how the song ends too, just like this song ends kind of the way the album began, because there are just like those loud hits to kind of end the album, and then you said like that little drum roll off. But it was very similar, because it starts very impactful and ends very impactful. So at the very least it has that, but I don't know, this still didn't feel like an ender track to me. Just didn't have those vibes. Like, if I wasn't paying attention, I just let this album go and it like looped back to the first song, I might not even notice that the album had ended.
Yeah. And then you're like, wait, I'm 3 songs into the album again? I didn't even notice.
Wait a minute, why am I listening to Untitled again? What the fuck?
Yeah. No, I definitely can see that. I can relate to that.
I think the bass and the toms are a great combo in this song. There's a lot of that going on. Gotta love it. I think the second verse has like an over-reliance on the hi-hat, especially in the headphones. Felt a little weird to me. So that was just kind of a weird thing to have to sit through. Again, maybe it is a remastered thing. I don't know. I would have to find the original and listen to it, because I feel like maybe some mixing choices are a little different in this one, but again, I can't confirm or deny that.
Stay tuned for episode 51, part 2.
No.
We do it, but the unremastered.
But we have to do band next week, so we can't do this album again.
Oh, right. I have my spoiler for
band.
The end of this show.
But not the band with Levon Helm and Robbie Robertson. No. It's just band.
Insert band here. Anyways.
Whoever you want, but there's only one right answer. Overall, though, I mean, it's still like a good bouncy track. I mean, you can see why this one's a single. It works really well that way. There's a lot to enjoy about it. Another great mix of like quieter and louder portions going throughout everything. Flow and intensity stay relatively consistent. So I like that much about it. Good song, just weird placement on the album.
I agree with that. I found the chorus very memorable and catchy. I really like that. I've always liked that. And yeah, I really like how the bass and drums really just roll the song forward the entire time. It's like, to me, it sounds literally rolling forward, and
yeah.
I like that a lot. So,
and the guitar plays a very minimal part in the verses too. So like the bass and drums kind of get their own chance to do things for a while. Yeah,
the very last one, they're like, okay, if you don't get it in now, you don't get it at all. And they're like, okay, we have to do everything.
Yeah, Jerry's just like, she's like, oh, if like my arthritis is really acting up in my fingers, take it easy on this one.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Again, I don't know if that counts as slander because I doubt he has arthritis in his fingers.
I doubt he's ever going to listen to this show.
You never know. Anyone can listen to anything. This is on the internet.
Get served with papers. Fuck.
Yes. And then we've been over the joke before where it's like that's how we actually get their autograph is just by them signing a contract.
Yeah.
All right, then. That brings us to the end of Alice in Chains and their album Dirt. So, hey, thank you very much for making it this far with us through the episode. We sure do hope that you liked what you heard so far. We sure hope that you liked the album, assuming that you had listened to it. So if you did, make sure you let us know down in the comments below of wherever you may be listening. And also make sure you hit like, subscribe, rate, comment, follow, share, all of those things. I could say it properly. Regardless, do that. Be part of the musical community and talk about Dirt by Alice in Chains and also all the other albums that we've done, but specifically this one today.
Woo!
Yeah, fantastic. And let us know over on social medias as well. Again, go to record.ca. Let us know what you thought over on social media because we'll always listen to that too. Asterisk, yes. Mainly me.
Yes. And hey, I do it. I just do it all at once. Not very often. Maybe.
There you go.
It's all part of my charm.
The mystique of Savannah. We'll never know.
Yeah, not at all.
Alrighty then, well, you can let us know more about what you thought about this album because we're going on to part 2 of the podcast now, and we're going to rank the songs because that's what we have to do from worst to best or least favorite to favorite, whatever you want to look at it. Regardless, that's what we're going to do right now. So above our heads, boom, graphics have changed. There are names, there are numbers, but there's about to be more names because we got, 26 songs I got to put up there, 13 apiece on each side. I mean, nothing will ever compare to having to do Blood Sugar Sex Magic. That was like 30 something because it was 17 apiece, so it was like 34 songs. Please. Kill me.
Yeah.
I mean, kill me back then. I'm fine now. I'm good. All right. Well, anyways, before we get started, I feel like it's obvious that we have at least one match.
Yeah, I'm
at least one.
I don't think so. I'm gonna say 2, but whatever one you think, I don't think so.
You probably know which one I'm talking about too.
I don't. That's why I don't think so.
Which is going to be fascinating, but hey, let's find out right now. Song number 13, Untitled.
No. Wow. Junkhead.
It was that bad. It was worse than a transition song?
Yeah, by like a point of a point.
That's ridiculous.
Redonkulous is what it is.
Song number 12, Gerd Smirk.
Untitled.
Fuck off. We're getting 0. That's it.
I didn't do that on purpose.
I bet you did. Song number 11, Hate to Feel.
Sick Man.
Sickman.
Sick Man.
And his arch nemesis, Healthy Lad.
Yeah.
Song number 10, Damn That River.
Godsmack.
I'm alive.
I don't even know what song that is. I don't even know if
it's their first song called Alive.
Oh, fuck. I don't know.
I'm alive for you. I'm awake.
All I hear is Pearl Jam's Alive, or there's There's another Alive song that I was thinking of. Don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's Creed or something. Who knows?
It could be. God, I can't wait to cover them one day. Song number 9, Sickman.
Dirt.
Dirt. We're definitely getting 0. Number 8, Angry Chair.
Rain When I Die.
Rain. I mean, it's been raining lately, so you better die soon. Decrease the surplus population, says the Christmas movie quote. Christmas Carol.
I hate that movie.
See, I watched the Muppets Christmas Carol, so that's my
wait,
thing.
no. Christmas Story. Christmas Story. I hate that movie.
Go fuck yourself. Song number 7, Them Bones.
Down in a Hole. Christmas Carol's not bad. Christmas Story, I don't like.
You'll be down in a fucking hole with that kind of opinion. Song number 6, Junkhead.
Them Bones.
Them.
Yeah, I think we're fucked.
Oh, I knew that a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, maybe we might match our number ones.
There's two songs we can still get.
Yeah.
Song number 5, Rain When I Die.
Number 5, Angry Chair.
Silver Chair.
Hold on. Let's do Silver Chair.
I don't know. Why don't you write them on the list or something? We'll do them in 2024.
Should.
God, looking at how far our list goes, I'm going to forget that I even wrote some of these bands on the list.
Oh, yeah. And then when it comes up, I'm like, who the hell? Oh, that was me. That was definitely me.
Please don't let that deter you from requesting albums. We will put them ahead of our own.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Song number 4, Down in a Hole.
Damn that river.
Down in a hole, black as your soul. That's my Nine Inch Nails tie-in. Anyways, great joke. We're really getting down to the wire here, so it's really hard to say what's going to happen. Song number 3, Wood.
No, we're fucked. Rooster.
Absolutely fucked. Song number 2, Rooster.
Hate to Feel. I like that part.
Ew. Number 1, the title track itself, Dirt.
Wood. Question mark?
Wold.
Wold.
I can't believe how bad this is getting.
Oh, no.
With all these zeros. Like, it gets to the point where the joke starts to get really sad.
Yeah. Is that right now?
Something along the lines of that. Because, I mean, I mentioned last week that we used to be so good at this. We get like 2 or 3 at a time. We were like, getting 4. Ooh, we could break the record. So crazy. It's like, we celebrate 1 now.
Yep.
And now it's been since episode 49 since we've matched, which isn't too far from here. But I mean, before that, I mean, there was like none since season 2.
We are pathetic, is what it is.
If I have time to edit some sort of animation of your head, I will, but that's just no guarantee.
Yeah,
because
that's fine.
The video is usually done at the last minute, so I don't really have a lot of time.
That is totally fine. That's fine. But literally, it hurts.
Well, I mean, at the very least, we seem to do it somewhat better with the album ratings, so I guess we should find out if this is going to be one of those weeks. We'll see. So, hey, why don't we just transition? Swoosh! This way it goes. Even though I always do the wipe, but it's never a wipe, it's a fade. It's just pure fade. What an actual dummy. Alrighty then, it's time to rate the record. Haha, yay, it's that thing that we do. And we have to try to make ourselves feel better about not another week of no matches. It's like that no bitches me, but it's like no matches. There you go, kids. Gen Z, do you like that joke? Anyway, it's time to rate the record. And this week, of course, Alice in Chains anniversary for Dirt. So you think we're going to be nice to it instead of treating it like dirt. I guess we're going to find out now. I'll go first since you did System of a Down last week first.
Yes.
Well, I think off camera, I made the joke that like this is probably going to end up in like the middle of the B tier.
Yeah.
I got a bad feeling, but and I could say that just because that's exactly where I put it. I gave it 75.38. And you know what's funny though is the fact that like coming to this album, I kind of didn't have many expectations. I didn't know what to anticipate because I don't really listen to a lot of Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
I was surprised by my score because honestly I thought it was going to be a little lower.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like low 70s, high 60s, but 75, I mean, not the greatest album I've heard, but obviously not the worst. There's a few songs on there that stuck with me, so I guess that's all that makes sense.
So what percentage is B+? Where does that start?
76.6.
76.6. Okay. So without any wordy preface, 77.92. I feel like we're going to get close. Is it 76.5 something?
So the criteria for a B plus is 76.66. This comes to 76.65. Oh my god.
Oh my
0.01%.
God.
It's in the middle of the B tier, just where I said it was going to be by 0.01%.
Oh my God.
And I just did the math on my phone. There it is. I'm not lying. 76.65%.
Oh my God. So 76.56. It is better than
65.
6.5. Doesn't matter. It's still better than Pearl Jam's Versus, but not as good as Kevin Gilbert.
There you go. There's something to carry with you a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
That is hilarious.
I love that not only did I nail it, but by like a thread.
Oh,
like
yeah.
An absolute hair width. Like
I said, I'll just agree with whatever you say because I've noticed that you're fairly observant and you're like, well, this is what I think and it's an educated guess. Mine's just like, this is where I want it to be. So this is where it is.
oh, fuck.
That's funny.
Oh, man. Surprise. B tier.
Yeah, what else were you expecting? You tuned in and you got exactly what you didn't want, but what we always do.
And not only that, but though I call it though. I
B-tier.
said middle of the B tier, and by a hair width, we got that B tier.
That's wild. That's just too.
And you were
that's
so
too
proud,
perfect.
thinking like, oh, this is gonna be just enough to get us into B plus.
Oh yeah.
Psych.
Oh, I fucking thought so. Well, because when you said 75, I was like, okay, split the difference. 77. We'll see. That's just. Can't we just move the bar a little? Just.
No,
I mean,
because
it's still in the fucking B tier. It doesn't even matter.
no, because if we do that, then I'm gonna make Mr. Bungle's California 83.26, and that'll be the number one album.
No, you know what?
Just
It's
slightly.
perfect where it is. It's all perfect where it is.
But yeah, there you go. I mean, I sure hope people aren't getting pissed off at all the B tiers. It's like, you guys are so bland with your B for bland for your fucking reviews. It's like, it's not the way we plan it. It just
Yeah.
kind of comes out this way. Sorry, not sorry.
Believe it or not, we do these reviews independently. I said do. We do these reviews independently. So it's not like we do this on purpose.
Yeah, like even while we're setting up the Zoom call and like we're talking before we start recording, like if we talk about the album at all, we literally start off with saying not to spoil anything, but and just to make it like a very vague sense of like, this is how I felt about it, and like without like you put on your best poker face and just be like, I was not expecting certain things on this album, so it'll be interesting to talk about them. It's like, what does that mean?
Yeah. And like, I can only get sort of an idea of, oh, Kris would like this, just going off of other ones that we've done where it's like, oh, maybe he'll like this sound or maybe he'll like that. Most of the time, my personal thoughts of what you would like, completely wrong.
Although you didn't do too bad on the mixtape episode that we did, that bonus little thing there. So, I mean,
That is true.
I like when it's not revolving around the podcast, you get a better sense of it. But when it's in the podcast, it's just like, he likes this song, Untitled by Allison James.
Yeah. Jesus.
Anyways, we're at the very end of the episode now, and hopefully you rank the album better than us. Or even if you did worse, at least it gets into another tier. That's all that really matters at this point. So thank you very much for joining us. We sure hope we had a lot of fun today, and make sure you let us know where you rank the songs and where you rated the record. We're always very curious to know, and we like to discuss this stuff with you. So by all means, down in the comments of wherever you're listening, audio, video, doesn't really matter. There's comment sections everywhere. Let us know what you thought about the album, where you put everything. Super curious. But also over on our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, at Rate the Record Podcast. You can find us over there. All found on ratetherecord.ca.
Hell yes.
There are so many options for you to tell us what we want, to tell us what you want to tell us, and there's no excuse not to. Just do it.
Yeah, and in all honesty, I hope we're not talking to no one because as soon as we said B tier, I really hope that at least one person is still with us. So thank you, one lone soul. Thank you.
Just put up the hands up emoji next to your comment if you've actually made it this far and you're still listening to us. So that way, it's just like our secret little code of like, see, they know what's up.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. More than you appreciate our rankings of the albums.
Unless it matches us, unless you also B-tiered it, then hey, you know what? That's why you're part of the community, right? You get it. You get it.
Nice.
But yeah, you can do all that. And also, again, if for some reason you want to financially support us giving more B tiers, then by all means, you can do that. Kofi.com/rate the record. Also found on ratetherecord.ca. But yeah, again, financially support us, help the podcast grow even bigger and better. It's completely optional, but man, you'd be certainly cool if you did that.
Oh my God. It's just, this whole, what's it going to be? Season 3 wrap up is just going to be B tier mania. And it's just going to be cuts of, and this lies in the B tier, this lies in the B tier, over and over and over.
It's funny. I will note this because we obviously keep stats on our episodes and just like where each of us rank songs and where the percentage of the record and like the scale system of what's best to worst. And I also keep an average of like the season score. So like season 1 was like 68 or 69%. Season 2 was like 74, and so far the season's 75. So guess what? We're very consistently now in the B tier.
Yeah.
We need more A tiers. Come on, A+. Yes. We got to do this.
Yes.
I did it with System of a Down last week. Okay, we got a pretty goddamn good score out of that.
We need more Anne Murray albums to rate.
Wouldn't sit next to Bob Dylan because that's exactly where she's going. Mrs. Anne Murray's in a hurry to hang out with the Bobby D.
Yes, I thought you were imitating her. Like, oh my God.
Bob Dylan, it's so nice to meet you. Thank you, Anne Murray. It's nice to meet you too. Wow, I didn't think I'd ever get to meet Bob Dylan. Yeah, that's a perfect Anne Murray impression.
Oh my God. I'm just imagining like Willy Wonka's Oompa Loompas, and when they talk, all they sound like are Bob Dylan.
Oompa Loompa Doompity Doo. I've got another folk song for you. It's called Number 2 because that's what my songs are now.
And we're just dead at the end. All
Speaking of being dead at the end, that's exactly where we are now. So let's just go ahead and cut this off. But I guess before we do that, we do like to give you like a little hint, sneak preview of what to expect next week. It's not Bob Dylan or Anne Murray, but
God.
Savannah will at least give us a little sneak preview of what to expect.
All right. So the artist, singular, for next week is making their second appearance on the list. Like I said, a solo effort, not with the band. But currently, as we are speaking, they are on tour with said band that got back together within the last, I think they got back together this year. So
look at that. Look at them doing things.
Yeah, after I think a decade hiatus. So
although you're incredibly misleading, you can't emphasize the word artist and not talk about Prince.
It's not Prince.
Although he's a symbol, or was a symbol. He's not exactly a symbol anymore. He's a tomb.
He's dead now.
He's a casket in the ground. Or I don't know how his body's kept. Regardless, that's irrelevant. And even better, this podcast is over now, so we can stop annoying you with our shit. So once again, thank you very much for joining us. And make sure you come on back next week to watch more of this podcast for some reason. But until then, go listen to some awesome music. We'll see you again real soon. So take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.